Hey, this is a special tutorial for some of the advanced students in the Intro to Digital Media class. Pat, Elizabeth, Tori, Ryan. In case you wanted to use the Canvas kind of element within JavaScript, I thought this might be interesting to you because you have experience with processing, and it's a way to kind of port a lot of your processing knowledge into JavaScript, into HTML. So what I'm going to be providing to you is just a kind of walk through of some of these ideas. Then I'll give you a bunch of the actual files that I'm using and a bunch more ones that I'm not going to show you, but you can just kind of understand a lot quicker after you watch this. So this is enabling you to do visual work in JavaScript, and then stay tuned. I'll also be updating the audio version as well, and everyone can work with this if you guys are interested in it. Okay, so let's just get started. So right here, I want to just show you, this is like a super basic Canvas kind of example. And I'm going to preview this in the browser. Okay, this is two rectangles that are being drawn here with this code. So with this HTML document, what I have here is, just like we did with CSS, what I've done is I have this extra attached script here that shows you how to do this is the JavaScript that goes along with this. And let me just kind of quickly show you how I did that. So I'm going to comment this out. The comment, and you can see how everything goes off there. The comment in HTML, as you know, is that exclamation and dash dash. And you can see how now that's taken out. If I wanted to insert, so what I'm going to do here is I'm assigning, you could put the JavaScript text in here, but it's a lot easier as things get more complicated to have a separate page, just like we have a separate page on CSS. So you just go like this, insert, and I have a page already made that is called, I think it's called myscript.js. Here it is here, and then I'm just going to say open, and look, it writes all the code right for you and connects that script for you. Okay, so if you want to, you just go File, New, and in blank page, and instead of going HTML, you can make JavaScript and then just call it, save this as save my potato. Okay, and now what I could do, I'm going to close that, and instead of this, I'm going to comment that out. Okay, and then insert script my potato. Okay, and there it is. Okay, so that's how I attach that script here. Basically, sometimes when you're working with Dreamweaver, if we wanted to attach the my potato one, see how this one is here? If I close this and then reopen it, it will now have my potato attached, and there's my potato, and it should be totally blank. Okay, so blah blah blah. Let's go back here and get the actual one that I wanted to show you. I'm just gonna get rid of the my potato example and get rid of this one too, and just go like that. Okay, so let's get the party started. I just wanted to quickly show you here what we're having. So it's a super simple page, as we saw there. This is the body, and then within the body, there's this event handler on load. So what that's saying is, when you start the web, sorry about the banging, guys. It's just driving me mental. I'm getting some work done on the house, and I've lost it. On load draw. I have this is a function that's being triggered when the page loads. it's saying trigger this function here, and that's the thing in the JavaScript. Here's function draw. It's basically saying run this, and we'll talk about this stuff in just a second. But I just wanted you to see, so I'm calling that function right when the page loads. This is our h1 tag right here. We could call it toothpaste, whatever you want to say in here, it doesn't matter. And you can see, oh, whoops, got that little, okay, there we go. Just so you can see how that goes in. Now here's the fun stuff. So you can see here's the opening of the canvas tag and the closing of the canvas tag. This is the key thing that I wanted, one of the key ideas I wanted to show you. The way that JavaScript works is that in HTML, here in HTML, you want to make an ID, and so you just go ID equals, and IDs are unique. You can only have one. You can call them anything you want, but it's like a class you can do. Remember when we did classes, you can reference like multiple classes. IDs are things that there's just one of them. So you can call this anything here. This is just a random variable name. I called it surface. And then the height is 600 for this canvas size. You can experiment with this based on your needs. You can just plug those in as you know. I'm doing something where I might want a little bit more space to the left and horizontally, so I increase that. Now what's cool is if someone doesn't have like an updated version of a browser, your browser does not support the canvas tag, will appear automatically. But what's cool is it totally doesn't if you do have the canvas thing. So you could put anything, put something in there, and so that's really it. But the important thing here is that this is how it's kind of referencing this location within the HTML. Okay, so let's see how that ID surface functions when this gets called. So now I'm going to click over here to the JavaScript. We call the function, and then here's the magic. So we make up a variable. We call it canvas. You could call it anything. Document, and this is the stuff that's going to look a little bit new to you, but once you get used to it, it's this is the way that JavaScript talks back and forth to the HTML. And so it's saying document, the document that we're working on, get element by ID. There's that ID we just said, and then surface. So you could, if you change the name of yours or have multiple other ones, you just got to reference the new ID name in here, and you're good to go. And I'm going to give you these files so you can experiment and change it. So now, then this, if canvas, which I'm just using the variable name that we established here, get context. So it's just saying get the drawing context for this information here. Think of this stuff as just stuff you need to have in order to start playing with canvas stuff. Really, you don't have to need to know all this, the theory behind it. Just need to know that you need it. And that this and that are talking to, that's the variable, and then this is the method for that variable. Okay, now con here is just a variable name that we've created. You can call it anything. You just will always want to make sure it's like one word. You don't want to call it 2 words or anything like that. So it's referencing canvas, get context, 2D. There are things that you can do with 3D, but let's not go run before we walk. So now check this out. So with whatever this variable name is here, you can then start to reference the different stylings for these, and I'm just going to kind of separate it out so you can see it. So this one here is the rectangle on the left, and then this one here is the rectangle on the right. We have the red, green, blue, and alpha, and the alpha typically goes between 0 and 1, and you can see how this is a string here, so it is in quotes. So this is the color information, and this is the placement of the rectangle. Okay, just like in processing, you can determine here, this is the X and Y location. So let's say we wanted to maybe put it right under that text. I'm going to move it over, so let's go, instead of 250, let's bring it up to like 100, and then let's move it closer to I'm going to save that. I'm going to move it closer to the right. So what we should see here is that this is going to go up and over. Ready? And I'm going to go Command R, and look, it just did that. Okay, great. Now let's make this more red. So if we bring that up to 255, I'm going to save that, and I'm going to go Command R. Holy shnikes, cool. Now you want to make it smaller. This is the dimensions. Let's make it, we can make it like a long thin one. Cool. And 50 here. Save, Command R. Tiny. Neat. Okay. Last thing, let's take a look over here. And this alpha, you can see this one is 0.8. It's much more saturated. If you want to get it to be more transparent, go over here, go Command R. Okay, so you can see that. Now you can just move this wherever you want to. Let's move it like right underneath. Okay. You can see you could build a robot or something right there if you wanted to, and so you can start applying all of your processing stuff within this context. So it might be a fun thing for you to apply your ideas from processing into that. Now let's look at something a little bit more advanced, and I'm going to give you a bunch of other things here. So this is what I'm going to show you. Now let's run this guy. This is 3 rectangle, and what I'm going to do here is introduce how to use arrays with within JavaScript, because that's something that can be really useful, as you know. Okay, so what this one is doing is I'm going to go Command R to refresh, and it's choosing different colors for those 3 rectangles based on a color hex numbers, an array of hex numbers for each one of these. Okay, cool. So this is just an example to build on what we've already discussed. Everything here is pretty much exactly the same. I've changed the linked JavaScript here, so it's linking to a more complicated JavaScript, but everything else is basically just like what we've done already. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that comment here. So onload draw, it's going to trigger the draw function right there, and then all that stuff is buried within there. Okay, your browser does not support that, and that's our canvas. We have the same ID and then a similar size here. Okay, so basically I'm using that 900 or 960 is typically like a typical person's kind of whole browser. Now let's go over to the JavaScript. Okay, so what I've done here is, just like in processing, what you want to do is you establish your global variables right up top. And what I've done is created an array of colors. So this is all the colors that I want. My first rectangle, the left rectangle, this one right here, they're all referring to these colors here. These are all hex colors, which I got using like the color scheme designer, or you can go into Photoshop and just kind of put together a color palette of things that you like. This next one is for the middle one, and this last one is for the right one. Okay, and so it's just an array of different color choices, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that array. So here we go. In the function, we start off the same exact way as we did before. We have this variable name, you could call it anything. Canvas equals get element by ID. That ID, that's the super important thing, that's right here, ID equals surface. That's the connection back to how JavaScript talks back to HTML. Big important point. Then this is the stuff that we just need in order to party, and it's just tying that variable name into get context. Now once we got the 2D context, then we can start our fun stuff. What I'm doing here, I just wanted to show you how the random stuff works within JavaScript, just so you can tie that information from processing over. So I've called this, I'm just establishing these variable names. Color 1 red, I've just called R. You could call it, I should have probably, if I was thinking more, G and B here, but it's color 1, color 2, color 3. Okay, this is what I was thinking, random. So color 1 random, color 2 random, color 3 random. And so what I'm doing here is, this is the math random function. It's going to generate a number between 0 and 1, a float, and then it's going to multiply that times the length of this by 5. Whatever, if we added 10 more colors in here, we had a total of 15. This would then be 15. But right now, think of this cl.length. That's the property of this array, which is right now as 5. So what's saying is multiply this random number. Let's say it's 0.5 times 5, and it's 0.25. Okay, but how do you deal with 0.25? What this does is it puts it into an integer. The math floor here is saying instead of 0.25, make it 2. Okay, so this is saying taking it out of the floating point numbers. Okay, so this is giving us an integer here, and this is a cool thing to do whenever you want to know, like, hey, what is this number that we're getting? The way that you do that, this is like printing to the console, just like we did in processing. This is how you do it here. Console.log. Color 1 is that's just a string. That's just my text. You could say I like turkey and I'm going to eat some on Thanksgiving. Right here, you could say anything. Plus M. M is the variable. I just chose this at random. So this is going to be an index number. So basically we're just choosing an index number. This is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 because we count from 0, as you know. And that's going to drop, right? This M is going to be this first one of these randomly chosen hexadecimal numbers that goes right into, guess what, right here, the color fill style. So it's saying choose this array number M, so it's CL index number 1, 2, 0, 3, 4, and that's how this is getting filled. Okay? Does that make sense? So we're just passing these random numbers. Let's run it again. Here's a cool thing, Command R. Okay, so now I'm here in Firefox, and I'm using this Firebug thing that lets you see kind of behind the scenes. This is the printout, the log, I'm printing to the console. These are the numbers. I'm going to hit Command R again. This is the numbers this time. See, the color is index number 4, index number 2 for this one. It's always random. Okay, index number 0, index 4, index 0. So I'm printing to the console. This is really useful when you want to kind of test to see, is my stuff working? Okay, so I'm going to go back here. So now just clicking that back and forth. If we go back to Dreamweaver and you want to look at it in preview in the browser for Google Chrome. I'm going to save that. Okay, so here I am in Chrome, and the way you do that, same thing, the test to print to the browser. If you go under View, Developer, Developer Tools, there it is here. So now I'm going to just go there, and you can see these same things in this context. If you're using a different browser, that's the same. Cool. What's nice is in Firefox, that Command Option I is the same one as well. I don't know, I'm having some kind of error there, but usually that should work. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you for the Canvas stuff. I'm going to give you a bunch more things, so check that out. But I think with knowing this stuff, you can then play to your heart's content with other string things, and you can just wanted to hit you with this as you're developing your ideas for your piece.